Hey guys, what's going on? Sapphire here, bringing you guys a very overdue video. My apologies with how long it's taken me to get this video out. I know I said in the last one that it wouldn't take this amount of time to get another video out there, but just when you thought that you had life under control and it was smooth sailing from here on out, life finds a way to completely turn that on its head in ways that you didn't expect. After the last video, I ended up getting sick, which rendered me unable to record because I would basically cough after every 3 words that I said, so that's not exactly quality to listen to on a YouTube video. I don't know what exactly made me sick. Some might say it's the driving skills that are on display here, and that's actually what caused the sickness, but it wasn't everybody's favorite disease to talk about, so I actually don't know what it was, some seasonal thing. On the replay here, you can actually see that it actually wasn't my fault. Sliding through that bus stop chicane, I got a little bit booted by the Bugatti behind, which sent me kind of off the ideal racing line into a really sick Tokyo drift kind of scenario, which then I followed up with actually being able to save it. Unlike the guys behind, as absolute carnage unfolds there, getting that one in super slow-mo as well, which I feel like everything in this race needed to be in super slow-mo to make sense. These races were just so quick in happening, and what was unfolding was absolutely insane that regular slow-mo doesn't do it justice. You need the super slow-mo. Before we get too far into this video and we get too sidetracked with the race that's going on as I almost turned that Bugatti into dust, I did want to say I hope you guys are having a happy holiday, celebrating whatever it is you do. I know it might be a bit late at this point, but I'm hoping that it's the thought that counts, just like the thought that I could sneak up the inside here and it goes absolutely wrong. That kind of describes what I'm feeling with this video, but regardless, I hope you guys had a good holidays, spending it with loved ones or spending it however you'd like, and that Santa was good to all you guys who might have gotten something special for Christmas. Anyway, enough sidetracking. The reason why this video actually exists is because of this car track combo with the innate driving ability that is on display here. It just led to so much carnage as we almost plowed through a Toyota. I believe that is what that was. But the Vision Gran Turismos around Watkins Glen are, while fun, absolutely infuriating for safety rating and to try and further any sort of ratings around here. Things are just happening way too quick, and there's too much happening all at once, as we see again off to the right here, more off to the left, sorry, more carnage as we can't quite sneak by as we thought we might be able to, and we get kind of pinballed around the track. Case in point, right here on this replay. See, we're sneaking up behind this pack of cars here. A couple of them go off to the left and kind of tussle, and unfortunately we get absolutely smacked, pinballed, and spun, and now we're facing the absolute wrong way. As we slow it down again here in super slow-mo, the Bugatti pinning us against the wall, losing it himself, spinning across track, hitting the other wall, and then us getting bopped, losing control, and spinning into the other Bugatti to then make way for the Tomahawk coming through. So absolute carnage here, as that basically ends my race more or less. I'll continue into it, as you know is sort of the mindset on this channel. We will go through every race to see if there's anything interesting that happens that we can make a point of, and basically it just kind of ended up us passing a couple of guys with that either spun, or we have a car here that had a penalty, and I almost reenacted what I did on lap 1, taking the inside corner on a car there with the hitboxes, but thank goodness the become ethereal is working with us here instead of against us, and we're just kind of getting through the rest of this race. There's lap 3 into lap 4. I do catch up to the pack in front, and so seeing that this pack is about to go 3 wide essentially, and as everybody's kind of tussling for position, I kind of wanted to keep my distance a little bit if I could, because here's the inevitable 3 wide, and there's the inevitable pinball back and forth, getting bumped. Luckily this time I was hit kind of on the broad side of the car, so it didn't force me to spin, and I was actually able to sneak by all 3 of them there. As we take another look here on the replay, you can see just the carnage unfolding from the cinematic angle this time instead of the onboard that you typically get with the POV driving stance. So you get a really good look at the Audi here. It's a good looking car. I do like the Audi Vision Gran Turismo. I can't say that for some reason. And the reason why I'm using that in this race is because it was basically the only one that I had unlocked at the time. And I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on cars that don't get a whole lot of use in the daily races. So that's that. Moving on to the point and the reason why this video exists is because this car track combo clearly highlighted for me the theory of picking the combos or picking the daily races that really resonate with you the most. This one was not really doing it for me. There was too much carnage going on. I did try a few times on this race. I wasn't just a one and done and switched races here, but I did give it kind of the old college try and just ended up not really having fun with it. I was getting really frustrated with the racing and getting really frustrated with the safety rating losses here, that I decided to cut ties with this race. And later in the video you will see which other car track combo I jumped to at the time. Nothing against Walk-ins or the Vision Gran Turismos, they're both a great track and great cars to race. It was just for whatever reason this combo not doing it for me. Before we do get to the later races though, I will say this will probably be the shortest race I showcase on this channel. It was an incredibly short one, and you're about to find out why in a minute here, but probably not going to be the overall outcome that you're expecting with an introduction like that. So as we come into the bus stop chicane, I absolutely rear-end the guy in front of me, and then I end up getting rear-ended. So live by the sword, die by the sword, or live by the insurance claim, die by the insurance claim at this point. But I end up getting a 2-second penalty for my crimes, and I don't believe anybody else got a penalty for their crimes, so that was unfortunate. On the next lap though, we do see a couple of cars coming up here that are going to get a penalty. We've got one serving on the left, but unfortunately I wasn't able to catch up in time, but I do get a hell of a lot closer to him and pass him on this corner here as I kind of tussle with John a little bit, us having a little bit of a battle going back and forth here. I do beat him to the inside line on this corner, and I can use that to kind of slingshot myself around him. So now racing back up to 7th position here, back up trying to get to where we started the race in 5th place. But after that, really, that was pretty much the rest of the race. I ended up in 7th place. I couldn't get anywhere higher up on the leaderboard there, and is what it is. That's why I'm saying it's the shortest race available on this channel. There was like 2 things that happened, and the rest of it was just essentially doing a time trial against myself. So that was fun. For race 3, we're hopping over to the Nürburgring in the Group 2s of all cars here. This isn't a race that I've really seen pop up too much, at least not this car, at least in the combo with anything. So that was kind of fun to explore a little bit. Apologies in advance for the way that these 2 races are going to look. They're going to be a little bit darker than normal, and for some reason my capture card in the PlayStation HDR mode decided that it wanted to make everything either super dark or super overly exposed for no apparent reason. I tried to fix it as best I could in post, but there's going to be some dark spots and some light spots without trying to make the footage look way too wacky. This is kind of the best we're going to get, so apologies for that. I tried to record the raw gameplay so that we had the relative on the left hand side and that'd be populated all nicely, but it didn't actually really matter. I tried recording it through the theater mode, I tried recording it through the raw gameplay, through the flashback recording on the PlayStation itself, and it all basically came out looking exactly the same. So I'll have to tweak my settings a little bit for future videos, at least to figure out what is causing this severe darkening of the image so that this doesn't happen again. On a what not to do step-by-step guide for that chicane, that right there is about as good as it's going to get. Don't do that, don't lose a position, don't blow through the corner of it. Just take it normal, take it smooth, and you'll be fine. I did want to say, however, I was slightly surprised at the layout chosen here for the Nürburgring track. I was expecting sort of the regular, longer, I believe it's the GP version of the track, or it might just be the Nürburgring itself. I'm not 100% sure on the layout name, so if you do know, drop a comment down below if I am wrong about that. My apologies there. But the version that's here is the sprint version of the track, which is slightly smaller. It kind of cuts out what I'd say is probably at least a third of the actual longer version of the Nürburgring track. So surprised to see that, but it was actually incredibly fun to race around, so no complaints from my side here. To get back to the point of this video as well, with picking the car track combo that kind of resonates most with you, the races I had on the Nürburgring in this configuration were so much better than the races that I had on walk-ins with the Vision Gran Turismo cars. There's just something about the car selection, I think, that makes a big point of this, where the other track felt like pinball simulator, this felt like actual racing simulator. So it was really nice to be able to have some actual races here and not have to worry about being completely punted or having to randomly blow up in the middle of the race. So all in all, that's a great thing. But the series I have for all things Gran Turismo on my channel basically serve as kind of my journey through sim racing and any sort of the learning points that I have along the way. So this is a pretty crucial one, I think, for me moving forward, is to pick the combo that you're having the most fun with. Not necessarily the combo that you're winning on, but the combo that supplies you with the most fun. It might not be the fastest car or the fastest track that you want to play. It might be, you know, the slowest car and the longest track you want to play. As long as you're having fun with it, that's what matters, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what game you're playing, it is a game. So you do need to have some fun with it and make it enjoyable for yourself. As we come around the corner here onto essentially the straight, you can see the guy behind me gets an absolute hell of a run. So there's not really a whole lot I can do before the next chicane. So I end up kind of backing off and I give him the position there. You know, good on him. He got a really good run on that straightaway there, and there's nothing I can really do at that point. So more power to him, but I try to get him on the inside here, hugging the corner super tight and trying to maximize the exit speed. But lo and behold, I just don't have enough gusto there to be able to do anything. So I'm going to revert to the game plan of trying to follow him as close as possible, wait for my, you know, time to shine, and see if I can bait him into any mistakes, which might give me back my position. We have a really close T1 as I take the inside, but then lose the inside line in the very next corner. So he's able to hold on to that position. We're still fighting very close here. Unfortunately, I give him a little bit of a tap, but I do kind of hold off and let him kind of restabilize himself there. Don't want to be that dirty racer as we've seen in the last couple of videos, where we kind of had those moments of hunting people by accident, or, you know, not really intentional, but, you know, trying to be a little bit better about where the car placement is and how to really learn how to drive really close behind somebody while racing. So that's just what it is. As long as there's no harm, no foul, I don't think there's gonna be that big of a deal. On this lap here, you can see I learned my lesson. I didn't punt him that time, so we are making some progress in that area. But I do have a question for you guys here, which is on this corner. I thought I was fine to take the inside here and that it wouldn't be that big of a deal. However, the game had other ideas, which ends up making me look like I kind of punted him out of the way on there. I think it was mostly netcode, or mostly kind of the online finagling that was happening there. But you guys be the judge. Do I have the right to take that corner at that kind of angle? I thought he was going to go wider on it so I could sneak up the inside, or was that just a bad move and I'm a shit driver, you know, and I should never drive again? Let me know down in the comments below. Unfortunately, after that move, he does drop out of the race, so I might not have had the right to that corner as I thought I did, but you guys be the judge down below. When the dust finally settled, we ended up in P2, so not a bad showing there. Basically, the group of three of us at the front had a giant gap to everybody else behind, and that's pretty much how that race shook out. On to this one here, the final race in this video, which is going to be, again, the Nürburgring in the Group 2s. However, this time, we are starting in pole position. We went back, did a couple more good qualifying laps, and got a pretty competent qualifying lap to put us in pole position here. So now it becomes another instance of, can we hold on to the lead and not have some reenactments that happened last video? Go check those out if you haven't already. But so far, so good. We did the first couple of turns and we survived, so that's already ahead of where we've been previously. Now the idea is to finally shake the guy that's right on our tail and just try and get as much of a gap as possible here. As you can see him behind being pretty cheeky, flashing the lights, trying to pull my attention away from what I'm supposed to be doing and paying attention to him. Unfortunately, he should have been paying more attention to what he was doing as he spins behind, and that just allows me to catapult myself into the lead now with a 2-second lead over the next guy behind. So I don't know if he caused kind of a big pile up at that point in the race, or if it was kind of just me and him out front and somebody else had some carnage from before. But either way, I'm happy. Gives me a ton of open space and a ton of open road here just to do what I want to do and race the race that I need to race. So after the first lap, it was pretty smooth sailing, kind of easy peasy. I end up making this more of a time trial run than anything else and began chasing PBs, but doing so in a more conservative fashion. I know I have a problem when it comes to these types of scenarios when racing, as I try to do too much and too fast, and I end up causing myself to spin or do worse, which then again throws away the lead that I have. So the whole time is, you know, yes, go for a PB, or yes, go for a faster lap, race lap, but don't do it in a stupid way that's going to compromise the actual end of the race itself. As we come around here towards the end of lap 2, You can see we've now stretched the lead to 4 seconds, so from 2 seconds on lap 1 to 4 seconds on lap 2. We are making some good progress, but with races where you're kind of way out front, each lap kind of melted into each other, and it became, can I match the 121.1 that I have, or the 121.2, I guess you could call that, and how consistent can I actually be? So as you can see, the answer was pretty consistent, hitting in the 121s basically for the entire race, and just doing clean, fun laps and making sure that I don't really do anything too stupid. By the end of the race, we ended up with about 11-second gap to P2, so a very successful race, even though this one was not at all stressful and not a whole lot happened, so unfortunately not super great for video commentary, but is what it is. Us coming across the line there, taking the checkered flag, and overall not a bad race. Definitely more fun than the races we had at the start of the video, and definitely a lot less frustrating. All in all, I would say if you needed to choose a race, do one at least once, pick which one is your favorite for that week, and then carry on from there. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if you've made it this far into it, you are an absolute rock star. I say this from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate every single person who likes, comments, and subscribes on any sort of video or any other content that I create here. So if you did make it this far, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you liked the video, go ahead and do the usual thing. If you didn't like the video, that's okay. Or if you didn't like my driving or anything I said in this video as well, that's also okay. I'd love to hear your opinions down below. I'd also like to hear sort of what the racing stewards think about that move that I highlighted in race 3. If you didn't see it or you skipped ahead, go back and check out race 3. There will be timestamps in the description for you to do so. Also, feel free to hit me up on any other forms of social media that I have. There will be links down below to all of my different platforms that I'm a part of. If you do like what I have to say, feel free to hang out there. There's also a Discord server if you'd like to join that. Trying to build a little bit of a racing community here for anybody and everybody who enjoys talking about not just racing in general, but games as it is. So if that interests you, see you there. As always, I've been Cyber Fury. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will check you guys out in the next one. See ya.